Nolan's testing it, and he'll let us know if it's good to go. We'll go from there.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So a couple things we wanted to chat about. Hopefully this doesn't go too long. Is we want to, based off what we currently have in that dev build. So I guess it's 1.5.9. See what we can continue to tweak and improve, and see what else we can get in before we launch that to production. So I know we haven't seen history filters yet. Do we have a timeline from Renato as to when we could get that in?
Yeah, I know. So he has sent me a partial build, and I have seen it. Yeah, it's looking good, but it's still not finished, I guess. Well, today he hasn't been working at all, so that's kind of a delay. But I guess for this week, but I can't tell when. I was hoping to have it by today, but I don't know.
That is okay. That's fun. If we could see it this week, that'd be awesome. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then the rest of, for this, we're still looking at the October 15th build. History filters is the big one, and I just pulled it back in from the mobile feature track. And then, can I pull stick up support out? I probably should. Stick up support, I'll pull back in. That needs to be in there.
Hey, John, can you send me the link for the spreadsheet? Because I don't have it right now.
No problem. No problem. I'm going to put in the messages here.
Sure.
Yeah, so yesterday I started ripping a lot of stuff out because I thought we were going to have to put a build out that just had the wet fix. But since you were able to work on a branch, you can kind of focus on development again.
You guys feel pretty good that you got a solution for that? Or did you guys get to test that pretty extensively?
Elliot, I can barely hear you.
I was just saying, are you guys feeling pretty confident in what in that build? Did you get to test it pretty extensively?
So the latest build that I sent, it's a beta release. It hasn't been fully tested, either by me or Nolan, and it has some things, like for instance, video on demand is pretty beta. But I sent it anyways in the build because we agreed on having something to test by QA team. So I prefer to deliver something that is not finished, but they can test at least a little bit. So no, if the answer is no, that latest build.
Okay, gotcha. So the build you sent, so it does include some of the new features. You weren't able to send a build that just fixed the web.
No, he did do that. He just did that today.
Oh yeah, that's all I was talking about.
Those are two different builds, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the we got Sunday, Monday has video on demand in it. We noticed, and it has a new setup UI. One question: did you guys? Is infinite scrolling a part of that, or supposed to be a part of it, or it's just the way it currently works in the 1.5.9 is the way it's always worked?
So the way on 1.09, that's the way it's always been working on Android.
That's fine.
And the infinite scrolling is something that Renato is going to take a look once he finishes the filter thing.
Great, that's fine.
The infinite scrolling was we had it on for the next build before
yes.
We kind of reorganized everything.
I agree with that. It's still technically on the next build now, October 30th build. We're still on October 15th. Okay.
Except October 30th is 3 days.
I know, but we have to. Maybe we should just pull the dates out of these and just look at it as a.
Or they should. I mean, maybe you guys need to look at this timeline, like Pablo, and reevaluate, like what we can deliver by, I don't know, November 15th, or I mean, we were looking at these. I think it was the Android was actually 2 weeks. So these dates were based on iOS. Android like another week after iOS, so we technically have another week after October.
Okay. Well,
We-
we can revisit this tomorrow, but right now let's focus on this October. 15th build.
mhm.
Um,
The 15, yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
before I forget, just wanted to let you know that I am not 100% sure, but apparently something changed on starting on Android 6.0, which is a version that I don't even have on my cell phone. It's like a newest version for Android. Something changed and setup doesn't seem to be working. Two of the guys from our team in Argentina, they have phones with 6.0 and setup isn't working. Something regarding permissions or something regarding the Wi-Fi, but it's not working. So that is something that we are going to have to attack pretty soon because it's a blocker for future devices. We don't have to like worry too much because I don't think there are too many devices with this version, but I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, and yeah, we should. I agree that we should always look at our priorities on Android, iOS, web, whatever. If we're preventing somebody from using the product, that's a failure, and that should always be priority number one. UI, UX changes, they are lower priorities. So, okay, yeah, maybe I don't know how we tackle this. I guess because we just don't know the numbers or the amount of people using it yet, right?
Is that a beta OS that hasn't been released publicly?
No, it's not a beta, but almost no cell phone has that version yet. People that goes like too deep with Android, they can install the version like manually. For instance, I have a Samsung S6, which is like the latest phone, and it doesn't even have Android 6.0. But I don't think it's going to go to, I don't know how to say in English. I think in a few weeks it's going to be available. So that is something that we need to tackle.
Okay. Yeah, we should focus on it for, if it's not this upcoming build, the next build, and we should definitely give it some priority.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at this October 30th and November 15th build and see what we push out to make sure that we resolve that issue.
I mean, I think that's kind of on you guys, is to look at for you guys to go through this feature list and figure out, look at it again. I know you already did once, but just look at it again with what you know now, and let us know, what's realistic and what's not.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
And October 30th, we could say maybe that's next week. Hopefully that's what we're going to work on next week. Hopefully we can get through the 15th build, number 2 column this week. Hopefully this stuff we can wrap up fairly quickly. But let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get together with Renato also to work on that.
Do you guys want to review the ticket that Elliot has been working on regarding the UI nodes?
Yes.
My beast of a ticket.
Yeah. So I'll start by saying that there's a lot of small UI things on here, and while they are important, I think the most important things are user experience related. So, for example, anywhere where we're populating a keyboard that shows up over a button, details like that need to be considered. They need to be tested first. Those are big. Those are blockers, right? Like if I can't share my, if I can't press the skip this step button on the shared user screen, that's bad.
Can you tell me an example of that? Do you remember any screen?
He's talking about the shared user screen specifically. Like you actually can't access that screen because when you first land on it, the keyboard pops up, and you can't see the screen of the buttons. Let's just go through this ticket, and also, I think it's important that you let us know whenever we give you a list like this. Always let us know if anything on this list is huge. Anything is a lot of effort, and it's kind of like minimal returns. Then maybe we shelf that particular item. Anything that's
Okay.
like 10
If you
minutes.
want, guys, I can share my screen,
Sure.
and we can take a look at the ticket.
Great.
Okay. Are you looking at it?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So it says here, use the new device graphics. I didn't know that, and I will check the new device graphics. Regarding the space on the horizontal list, that is going to be included on the history filter thing, because it's the same screen, and Renato is working on that.
Okay.
Device settings, we can work on that. We can reduce the map heat. Regarding the live view button, we can change the layout. Regarding this, we can add the hardware icon.
Okay.
Setup flow. The new assets, yeah, please improve spacing. Okay, so this is something that I was talking to Elliot. It's a little bit difficult to explain in English. I will try it anyways, okay? So for the latest build, I did a lot of improvement on spacing, because what I changed it is the way we are building the layouts. So I changed it all the layouts. So now instead of putting an absolute pixel of space between elements, I am now doing everything regarding portions of the screen. Like 30% of the screen is this, 20% of the screen is that. That way, we are kind of doing the same UI for any screen dimension. Okay, so that was a great improvement. The thing is that Elliot is talking about here, especially on text. For instance, here you have a line break here, and of course it does look pretty good, and we can do that. But the thing is that it might look good on the S5 that Elliot has, but we need to consider like 30 or 40 different screen sizes, and we should look at them on how that line break is going to look like. So what I was saying is that, yes.
You mean the vertical height line break, or the how the text is spaced wide? You know what I mean? So like there's equal amounts of text on the second line and the first line? Or are you talking about
Yes,
how?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the amount of words you have in the first line and the amount of words you have in the second line.
Okay.
So that's not as big of a deal. I guess I get what you're saying. If we can look at that, like if you have the software where we can see that across a bunch of screens for that kind of stuff, that's ideal. What's more important here is just kind of balancing the layout. For example, like the button buttons at the bottom, if those can have equal padding on the sides as they do at the bottom, and then the elements in the top, like the doorbell and the label below it, if you can look at those as one element that is centered vertically in that space, then the layout starts to feel more balanced. Do you see what I'm talking about by those two things?
Yes, I see what you're talking about. But the thing is that before I made the changes, we had, for instance, the bottom margin was equal to the side margin. That is something that we had before. But the thing is that if I move all this block of buttons to the bottom and have this same margin on the bottom, this space here is going to be bigger, and it will start to look ugly because this space here, it won't be equal to this space here. You see what I'm saying? And
but the other piece I just said was you take the doorbell and the label and you space those like I have it on the right. Whatever that space is, they sit right in the middle of the buttons and the blue bar at the top.
yes, I know, but I honestly, I did try to do that, and it's nearly impossible. I couldn't try a way to put everything like this mock-up here, like have the same spaces here and here and here. I couldn't do that. That's why I say, okay, I'm going to put all the things in the screen and assign portion of percentage of the screen and have them center on each portion. And this is like the...
I gotcha. Didn't you do that though on the other? Isn't that how you laid out the other setup screens?
No. Right now, all of the setup screens are laid out in the same way with portions, with percentage. What I can do that is I will try to make this block of buttons. I will try to make them go to the bottom so we have the same margin. I will try to do that and see how it looks, but I can't promise anything.
Okay, I mean, I want to go with the solution that is the easiest to implement, but that still, you know, kind of looks visually sort of balanced. So if there's an easier way to get at something that's more balanced, even if it's not exactly this mock-up, then I'm cool with that.
Okay. I totally understand what you're saying, and it does look pretty easy to do looking at the screen, but it's really complex. It's really complex on Android because of the different sizes. It has nothing to do with how you work on iOS. I can assure that.
Okay. So, I mean, see what you can do. If there's any dynamic spacing, you can center it in like the top half of the page or whatever you think is easiest. But again, don't spend like hours on this.
Yeah, Cesar, I would set a clock, and after 30 minutes, stop. I don't think this is that drastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If we continue here, this is what I think this is what you were talking about the keyboard. Oh, here you're saying that the keyboard should appear, right?
Right.
Okay, we can do that.
So the reason he says that though is because you already have the cursor. You know, what's that? The cursor it flashes.
The field's focused, like the device name field is focused when you land on this page.
Okay, and do you guys prefer not to focus the field or focus the field and show the keyboard?
I think we need to decide page by page. On this page, you should focus the field, but as a rule, whenever a field is focused, the keyboard should be present.
Yes, I agree.
But here's the thing, though, Cesar. You can't focus and populate the keyboard when you have a button that sits behind the keyboard.
No, so on a page like that, we won't focus the field. The user will do it manually.
This is what scares me, though. We're gonna run
Yes, I know. You guys need to take into account that on different devices, you might have a button below the keyboard, and on some other devices on the same screen, you won't have it. That's depending on the screen size. I know you guys are looking at this screen size, but there are really small devices where almost any screen would have buttons below the keyboard.
I think for this type of screen, it's fine.
Yes, because it's only one text box there.
And can we decide screen by screen?
I don't want to. It makes it too hard on them.
I don't think so. Is it too much work for you to decide screen by screen, like where we show the auto show?
No. It's more a matter of putting on a call, everything on a call, and just talk about it. But it's not too much work.
Yeah. So this screen just auto show the keyboard.
Every time you design a screen, please specify. Okay. Does that work for you, Cesar? If Elliot should be designing UI and calling out UX notes in the tickets.
Okay.
That way it should be very clear what you populate, what you don't populate, when you populate it, when you hide it, what button should be at the bottom right-hand side of the keyboard. We need to be more focused on details and let you guys build.
Okay.
I
One of the tricky comments.
no, I know, but we can't assume, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
When we assume, it just leaves us more, critiquing on our end.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. If we continue here, you're talking about that the smart suggestions are not working as expected.
Yeah.
So
they're closer. They're not like in other countries now, but it's still not getting.
Okay. So what I can do is I can take another look at the code, but I'm pretty sure that we are now using Google. I think it was Google Places. I'm not sure, but we are using the same API as iOS.
On iOS it works, so maybe talk to them, see what they're doing differently. Maybe they can advise you on that.
Yes, I know. We can talk to them. There might be the small probability that iOS works better. I don't know. I have no idea, but I can talk to them and I can ask them to take a look at our code.
Okay, this isn't anything that's super high priority because it works. It just doesn't work well, so don't spend a ton of time on this. But see, if you can do this without too much time.
Okay. Screen.
So the screen was just a layout issue. At the least, just scale down that graphic.
Sure.
If there's anything else you can do to better position or center the elements on that page, that would be great too.
Yeah, one thing that I was thinking is that we can have these two sentences with a line break here, because I think it's like a too long line, right?
Yeah, that'll probably help.
Okay.
Can you just narrow, maybe you just narrow the container for that text so it never goes that wide. Maybe that'll help with the line breaks.
Yep. Yes, I think that's a pretty good idea.
And that's kind of global. Try that on that other page too.
This is the same thing, right? We need to scale down the font.
Yes.
And regarding the animation, I understand animation doesn't look perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know how much priority you guys want to give to that, because it's not pretty simple.
It is simple, or it isn't?
It's not pretty simple.
It's not.
It's not simple.
Can you spend like a half hour on it and get it looking better? At least have like the Wi-Fi icon go off screen before it disappears.
Okay.
I mean, again, John's right. It's not high priority, but it should look professional.
Yeah, if we can hide the Wi-Fi icon at the end of that animation, I think it'd be okay. I think that was the biggest thing.
Well, it does hide. It just animates over, and then it hides. And animate off screen.
Yes, the animation doesn't look pretty good. I know.
See what you can do without too much time.
Okay. So regarding the new LED pattern, I think this is something that we didn't get to like a final agreement on how to work on this.
Actually,
because
no.
Elliot, you were saying one thing and Nolan was saying another thing.
And my doorbell was telling me another thing. So.
Yeah.
But then I noticed in later builds when I was testing this, I don't know, it didn't seem to show up consistently. So you're not clear. I'll have to get clear on that. I'll get back to you.
Okay, but please, note the difference between when you say sending the information to the doorbell and when you say validating, because
Yeah, I get that.
when you are sending, okay, great.
The screen just had the wrong text on it.
Okay, and this goes for any type of device?
Well, if it's a stick-up cam, Ring doorbell would obviously be replaced with stick-up cam. We still haven't combed through these screens for Chime, so we should probably have that on our list. And I actually haven't gone through Chime setups in a while.
Okay.
But I think most of these notes should apply. I think for the most part, the doorbell could be replaced with a Chime, and we'll do the pattern based on what the Chime should be doing. So maybe once you get all this stuff, then we'll come through Chime setup and stick-up cam setup.
Sure. Regarding this, we cannot change this message. This is Android message.
That's an Android message.
What does that mean?
You get this message. Yeah, you get this message when any application crashes.
Oh.
But I get that message when the app is still running. It doesn't necessarily crash.
No, if you click OK, the application should close, and then on some times it does restart automatically.
Maybe that's what's happening, but I feel like I get that a lot even when the app's still running and it keeps running.
No.
It might just restart.
At least not that I know.
Okay, I was seeing that a lot in the last build, so hopefully that's just...
Yes, so I was looking at the logs, and for some reason your device is getting out of memory, but that's because we're doing something wrong with the animations. So Ivan is currently taking a look at that. We are actually taking a look at that. So we're trying to come up with a solution.
Okay. So it's just another one up here.
Yep.
There.
Okay, this is a share user you were saying, right?
Yeah, so on that one, don't have the keyboard auto appear, because as you can see, it covers half of the screen. But the other thing on this screen is, see the icon in the bottom right corner is the search icon?
Mm-hmm.
You have other screens, that icon is different. I think it says done. Like on the screen where you enter the Wi-Fi password.
Yes, we can change that.
Yeah, or where you type in the name of the device, it says done. You use that keyboard.
Okay, so I haven't seen how iOS handle this screen. I should take a look at that.
This screen, but what they did with the registration process when you create an account in the app, like when you're setting up a device for the first time. They added some inline validation that's kind of cool.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. That error thing isn't a big deal. I think we can fix that. It's not high priority.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, we should change the LED word to light.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's basically just us that call these things LEDs. Customers have no idea. Same thing here.
Yeah, same thing. Okay.
So my global notes, I can't remember was there another section down at the bottom? Yeah, lost that edit. But there were some global notes about just when the last thing was when you're going through the setup screens. For some reason I got lost. When you're going through the setup screens, like the transitions should feel as smooth as possible. Like text on one screen should fade out and then fade in as you go to the next screen. It shouldn't necessarily feel like you're going through all these different screens. Does that make sense? It should be more of a seamless kind of transition from one stage of setup to the next. I still want you to see the setup for Nest Protect on Android, because, like, yeah, granted they have $1 billion more behind them, but it's just really smooth. I just want you to see how to transition from screen to screen. Yeah.
Are you talking about iOS? I didn't hear you well.
No, it's on the Android. It's on my Android phone. Just setting up a Nest Protect, their whole setup process is really smooth, just the way it goes from one step to the next. So I just wanted you to see that as a reference. I'll see if there's a way to do a screen capture. Maybe you can help me with that, with how you did.
Okay, I can help. Yes, I can help.
I think that would be a good reference.
Yep, sure. What else?
That's it.
Okay, so on my to-do list, so I have a couple of things regarding the UI. And at the beginning, we were saying that we need the spreadsheet.
Are you talking? We can't hear you.
Yes, I was talking. Do you guys hear me?
Now we do.
Okay, I was just reviewing my to-do list. So I have a couple of UI UX items, and then we need to review the spreadsheet with Pablo and talk to Elliot and John.
Okay, yeah, I mean, just give us the proposal of how we're going to tackle rolling out what we want to roll out, and what kind of timeline is reasonable if it's.
Okay, great. And also, I think we need to discuss again the app versioning thing.
We'll do that tomorrow on our call.
Yeah, that's Nolan.
Oh, great.
So Nolan's there, yeah.
And we'll discuss it tomorrow.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, that's it. I just, we'll try to do a better job though moving forward. So are providing you with all the details we can possible to make your life easier. We don't want to make your life harder, right? But we want to make sure that when you do get us a build, that we can do less scrubbing on it and going back and forth, so that we can put stuff out quicker that we're all comfortable with, right? So, if you have any additional comments or suggestions for us to make your life easier, to make building everything we want better, please feel free to share. From a details perspective on Android, I think we can get a lot better, and I want to get a lot better over the next couple weeks. And I know that involves improving processes, though. We need to be more consistent with our build schedules and how many features we put into each build. So we'll continue to work on that and iron it out as we get over this. Everyone's really busy and crazy right now. We're trying to throw 1,000 features into the app, so it doesn't make this process easier.
Yes, I know. I think the same thing, and I think as we go through more releases, we're going to get better in this. And of course, on the last release, we changed almost everything we had in the release because we wanted to tackle ring secure and video on demand. So those kind of things does get us off track of what we talk on the release calls. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I mean, I think stuff like reviewing the details like we did now, maybe not, it won't be as long, but I think that'll have to be something that happens regularly, maybe with reviewing less things. Basically, I don't program a lot of Android and iOS, but I do a little bit for fun, I guess. And a lot of things that we talk about here, some things it's paying attention, and some things happen naturally when you just throw the stuff in there in iOS, and in Android it has to be explicit. So for a programmer, it's very different, right? Because when it happens naturally, I mean, you don't have to think about the design so much because it's kind of taken care of by the framework. It's not all that, but there's some of that in there, at least from what I've dabbled into both platforms.
Maybe each Monday I'll do a meeting with iOS and Android individually, and we can walk through the app and what kind of things that we'll be building that week and what things we should focus on from a details perspective.
Okay, if we do it regularly, the details part should be actually very small, because here we talked about things we've been developing for a long time. So
yeah,
it should be very, very short if we do it.
Yeah, just remember developers don't like too many meetings.
Neither do I, but
no one does. No one does. But it's better regular and short than long meetings every 2 or 3 weeks. Trying to know the details. I think it's better.
What I want to get to with the details is a point where you, Cesar, can know, oh, I have to put a button in. You shouldn't even have to look at the button design. You should just know what type of button we're going to use based off of what we have hopefully consistently across the app. Like, oh, it should be a blue button. It's going to be 200 pixels wide. The text size will be this. I want you to be able to copy and paste code all over your app so that everything looks consistent. I hope for me that's how I design. I don't make anything new. I just copy and paste what I've already built. It helps my designs become consistent, and it helps me build faster. So that's what I want to get to with everything. I don't want you guys, I don't have to put extra work on anyone's plate because we've done a lot of this stuff already. Some of this stuff is simple layout work. We should just be able to plug and play new content. So we'll get to that point on our end, Elliot and my end, and hopefully we can carry it over to you guys. I know it starts with us though, so we're working on refinement and getting better for you guys.
Okay. And also, I think we need to see how we're going to come up with the bugs that are appearing on current release. Because of course, as soon as we start working on bugs, it just takes off time of whatever we have for the current release. Sometimes I had some change of opinion with Nolan on HipChat or whatever. Because either Nolan or whoever gives me a bug, and I told him, hey, I don't have time right now because I need to work on whatever we had for the release, and they get mad or whatever. I don't know the word in English, but yeah. So we should come up with a more organized plan for those type of situations.
Into the timelines. We just need to make sure we're factoring that in. When we've got a bunch of features we want to launch for. The thing you need to factor in is like, okay, after we launch something, that next week, I might not be able to jump into developing the next batch of features right away. I might be addressing bugs from the last release. So just make sure you're factoring in that cushion when you guys agree to a timeline.
Yeah, from what I see, it's not. I mean There are bugs that come from a release, but there are bugs that kind of appear because of different devices, and they kind of appear randomly. I'm not sure if those are the ones you're talking about, Cesar. They're the ones that kind of just appear, and they've been in there, but nobody's seen them because no user with that specific setting has called in yet.
The question is
both.
We have both. Okay. So yes,
yeah.
We definitely have to factor in that we're going to be spending a certain amount of time per week just doing bug fixing, both after a release and just regularly.
I think it'd be safe to assume like 3 days. I would tack on 3 days to any schedule you assume. And just say let's spend 3 days completely reviewing this thing. That way we don't push anything that's not quite. It's half baked, right? It's not fully ready, and then we can review all the UI. We can review any quality issues we might be seeing. Just make sure all of our builds are solid. I'd rather not rush a build out the door, because then we do things like we did at the end of last week and early this week, trying to recover, right? And that also eats away from our development time. So just add it on. And at the end of the day, shit's gonna happen, right? We're gonna break things. I break stuff all the time. Half of our customer support issues are my fault. All we can do is when a problem comes up, I'll sit down with an option. We'll evaluate the priorities at that point in time. Is it developing more, or is it going back and fixing? And I think in some cases, like a WEP setup issue, that we should go back and fix. So it's just going to be on a case-by-case basis for that.
Yep, sure.
From a scheduling standpoint, though, just build yourself some buffer. It's fine. It's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Okay. I'm going to try to have a better communication, either by email or HipChat. You guys please take a better look at the TestFairy emails, because I always include whatever it's included in the bill on TestFairy. Okay?
Great.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Great job. And we'll have some more today.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.